and also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. All right, so our chapter is Language Arts, grade 5, and the lessons that we are focusing on, or let's say we're scrolling down to our chapter first of prefixes and suffixes. So as you can see, there is going to be a lot of lessons that we need to get through, right? Which means that we're going to do it over a period of, let's say, about 2 or 3 days. All right. So we are now by our chapter, and we said our chapter is prefixes and suffixes. Subject is English language arts, grade 5. And the lessons that we're going to be focusing on is to use Greek and Latin roots as clues to the meanings of words. Oh no. We are going we're going to use words with pre, words with re, and words with sub. So it's going to be words with pre, then words with re, and words with sub. That is going to be our focus lessons for today. So our chapter is prefixes. Our subject is English language arts, grade 5, and the lessons are words with pre, words with re, as well as words with sub. So that is going to be our focus lessons for today. All right, so if we look at a prefix, right, before we even go on to our prefix, we need to have a root word. A root word is a word that can stand on its own, right, with its own meaning, right? Then from the root word, right, we can add a word or few letters to that specific root word, and then the word basically, the whole word changes. Or let's say the meaning or everything changes now. All right, so now we're going to do words with re, words with pre, and words with sub, right? And we said a prefix can be added to the beginning of a base or a root word to create a new word, right? And knowing the meaning of a prefix, it can help you to determine the meaning of a word, meaning that the word on its own before even the base word, if you know that word, then you will be able to determine what the meaning of the whole entire word or sentence is. All right. So we said a prefix can be added to the beginning of a base word to create a new word, right? And then we have the prefix pre, and we have the prefix re, as well as the prefix sub, right? All right. So when it comes to prefixes, right, we see that prefix can be added to the beginning of a base word to create a new word, right? And in order for you to know what a prefix is, it is also best for you to know what the meaning of that prefix means. For example, pre. The word pre. The word pre means before. So pre means before, right? Then we have the word re. Re means again. So you try, so it's retry, try again. Replay, you play it again. Redo is to do it again, right? And so on. Then we have the prefix, which is sub, right? And the meaning of the word sub either means under, or it means below, or it means less than. So those or these are our, let's say, our words that we are going to be focusing on, which is the meaning, which is going to be prefixes with pre, re, and sub. All right. So over here we have a chart that shows both prefixes as well as suffixes. If we look specifically at re, right? All right, then we have, if we look at the page in front of us with prefixes and suffixes, these are but a few examples of prefixes and examples of suffixes, right? All right. So we see that the word pre, it means before, right? So it's like pre-mix. It's like mixing it before. Pre-heat. It's like heating it up before, right? So that is basically prefixes, right? All right. Then we have re, right? If we look at the word re means it means again, right? Re means again. It's like saying redo, relist, retype, repay, right? It means that you need to do it again, right? And then we have sub. So yeah, so sub, right? Sub, we say we find under, and also we can say it is below, or we can say it is less than, right? That is sub. For example, like submarine, and a submarine you find underwater. Submit, it's like, for example, saying that you need to. All right. So we said that a prefix can be added to the beginning of the word to create a new word, and it is best for you to know the meaning of the word, right? All right. And we said that with our prefixes and suffixes, right? Prefixes we add to the beginning, we add at the beginning of a root word, and a root word or a base word is words that can stand on its own. All right. So we say that with prefixes, it's a word that is added to the beginning of a base word, right? All right, and then we have a suffix, right? And a suffix is a word that we add at the end of a root word or at the end of a base word that can stand on its own, right? But today we're not going over suffixes, right? And we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. So we're going with words with pre. So words with pre. And we said words with pre means before. So pre means before. All right. When would you preheat an oven? So when would you preheat an oven? Remember, pre means before. So when would you preheat an oven? All right. So if you were told to preheat an oven, right? All right, so when we preheat an oven, right, that is when we then need to switch on the oven a few minutes before it is ready to use, right? All right, so we said prefix or pre means before, right? And pre is added to a base or root word, and that is how we also adopted that name, right? Which is like pre something, right? And we say pre means before. So if we, for example, preheat something, then it means that you need to switch it on a few minutes before you start using it. When might you preset a time? So we preset a time. All right. So when we preset the time, right? And then it means that we preset the time before you even see it. So it's almost like snoozing, if that's the word. It's like snoozing, and that is why we call it presetting a time, because it says it's without even knowing. All right. So we need to help prevent a cold, prevent a cold. And if we want to help prevent a cold, then you need to wash your hands frequently. Also eat healthier, right? And drink lots of water and medication. So what help prevents a cold? And we say that is specifically washing your hands. All right. So we said in order for us to prevent a cold, we need to wash our hands frequently. Because what we don't know is that germs they build up on our hands. So as much as we think that we're just washing our hands with, for example, water, that is not clean enough. We need like a sanitizer spray, or a gel thingy, cream in order to sell it. Not sell it, but to use it, right? Give it away. All right. So we see that we can prevent from getting sick by washing our hands. Then we also have preset. It's like presetting a time. Yes. So we say pre means before. And remember, when we go for consultation, when we look at the word prefix, sorry, and then we need to specifically look at the word which means before. So prefix, the word pre means before. Why might football teams want to play pre-season games? Pre-seasons. So why might football teams want to play pre-season games? Pre-season. Is it to get practice ahead of the upcoming season or to get some practice during the current season? All right. So we said pre-season, right? Pre-season is, for example, matches that are being played before the actual season happens, right? And that is basically to get some practice ahead of the upcoming season. And you're basically playing amongst each other, which is the your own immediate players. When would you preheat an oven? When would you preheat an oven? Right when you're ready to use it, or a few minutes before you are ready to use it? So we preheat it when you need to wait a few minutes before you are ready to use it. All right, so now we need to say what is preheat, or when do we preheat an oven? All right. So now when would you prefer an oven? A few minutes before, sorry, preheat an oven. And I would say a few minutes before they're ready to use it. All right. So we will preheat an oven a few minutes before you're ready to use it, because by the time you use the oven, then it's already heated up. That is why we preheat an oven. And if you don't do that, especially if they say you need to preheat before you bake, your cake is going to flop. When would a group of people pre-screen a movie? Pre-screen. So when would a group of people pre-screen a movie? Remember, pre-screen means that it hasn't been on on the screens yet. It hasn't been on TV yet. It hasn't been on any sitcom or series or local soapies yet, right? So pre-screen, right? It is after the film is released to the public. So now the let's say the writers as well as the actors, actresses, they would basically do something with it. They'll go and watch pre-screen season. All right. So we then pre-screen a movie before the film is released to the public. Yes, so actors, soapy actresses, they first watch the movie before the public watches it. Then we have re. Re means again. So when might you reconsider a decision? When might you reconsider a decision? So the lighting. So if we were to reconsider a decision, reconsider. So firstly, means again, right? So now it says, why might you reconsider a decision? Why? And we might reconsider a decision, right? Firstly, because we sometimes doubt our original idea, or we are just, let's say, reconsider. It's like you give somebody another chance, right? You haven't really made a choice as yet. You said you agreed to something, but now you are reconsidering by at least proper thinking about it. When can a writer review her essay? When can a writer review her essay? And remember, as a writer or writing review, right? You basically review your essay or review your essay after it is written. So after it is written, then you can review your essay. Why would you be more likely to refold? So if you are hanging clothes on the line and now you're taking it off either later the day or the next day, depending, right? The only time you would maybe want to refold your clothes would be if, let's say, your pet, specifically a dog, ran it over, or all right. We need to, so we refold we refold again when you haven't folded properly. All right. So we refold clothes again after it has been crumbled or after it has been messed up. So which would you be more likely to refold? We said that we would most likely refold something, right, that is crumbled, that is not in order, right? And if we were to look at, the two options, we would definitely go with a crumbled napkin, right? If a napkin is nice and straight, we don't need to refold that. So we'll go with a crumbled napkin. All right. So we say we would likely to refold, right? A crumbled napkin, not a perfectly folded sheet. A crumbled necklace. Napkin. Necklace. Napkin. Oopsie. So that is correct. Why might you repack a suitcase? All right, so why might you repack your suitcase? Why might you repack your suitcase? Mm-hmm. Repack. Why do we repack our suitcase? And we might repack a suitcase because all of the clothes doesn't fit in there. Maybe it fell out. Maybe one or two stuff you missed out, you want to put back in, right? That is repacking a suitcase. All right. So repack. So we repack our suitcase because it won't close or we want to add more things, right? Then we repack our suitcase, which needs to be rearranged. You need to rearrange. Is it a tidy stack of papers or a messy pile of clothes? You? Which needs to be rearranged? All All right. And we would basically most likely rearrange anything that is untidy or messy. So a messy pile of papers, or even a messy, like assist with a messy classroom. It's a messy pile of papers. All right. Who needs a reminder to return his library books? So who needs to have a reminder to return his or her library books? Is it a person who usually remembers or a person who usually forgets? Talking about the library books. A person who remembers or a person who forgets. And the person who needs to return library books, it would basically be a person who forgets. Because a person who remembers will remember to return the books. Why would you rebalance something? So why would we rebalance something? So we would rebalance something, right? Is it to knock it off balance or to make it balance again? So we would rebalance something, almost like balance it again, and that is to make it balance again. So we would rebalance something to make it balanced again. So we rebalance something to make it balanced again. All right. So we say the re means again, right? So why might we reconsider something or reconsider see a decision or reconsider doing anything? Remember, re means again. So it's like saying, I'm going to consider this thing or this person again. So why might we reconsider a decision? Is it because you haven't made a choice yet or because you doubt your original choice? So why might you reconsider decision? Let's say rather because you doubt your original choice. Because if you haven't made a decision yet, then you cannot reconsider decision. Then it means that you need to just make a decision, right? So you first make a decision, and now if you doubt maybe your original choice, then you reconsider making a decision. Who can get remarried? Who can get remarried? Is it someone who has never been married? or someone who was married before but it isn't now. So who can get remarried, right? Remember, you can only marry again when someone was married before, right? Someone who has never been married cannot remarry, right? So it must be someone who has never married before but isn't now anymore because, like they say, it's either separation or divorce, they can remarry. All right. All right. So that is now the end of our lesson on prefixes and suffixes. We said prefixes are we add it in front of our root word. So a root word is a word that can stand on its own. Then once we either add a word or let's say letters in front of that root word, right, then it is a prefix. Whatever we add at the back of the root word, we call that a suffix. But we focused on words with pre, re, and sub. Pre means before, right? Re means again, and sub means either under, right? So it is important to also know the meaning of a prefix because once you know the meaning of a prefix, you'll be able to know meaning of, let's say, either a new word that is being created. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on prefixes and suffixes. In our next lesson, we will continue again with prefixes and suffixes. But for now, you must have a good day further. Goodbye.